Welcome back, everyone. Today we've got a bit of a different project coming up for you. Starting out in the big workshop with the enormous 1920s pillar drill. There's a bit of you in there in a collection of G-clamps. And it's a 22mm hole I'm drilling in there. Brand new drill bit, that one, so it made a pretty good job. Today we're going to be making a lamp. My neighbour has commissioned me to make 3 lamps for her children, relatives. And one of them wants to be in a modern sort of style. And I'm not sure that I really do modern, but we'll see how we get on. So I wonder if you can guess what I'm going to do with these holy sections. That's right, donuts. Lots and lots of donuts. Okay, so we're starting out on the lathe. We're making the base. A big old bit of U. It's probably 9 inches at its widest point. Pretty out of balance here, so we're turning at 425 RPM. I tried to find the gnarliest piece of wood I could for the base. I know what U looks like on the inside, and the more twisted up it is, the prettier it is, so that's what we've got for the base. Bit of bark flying off there. Okay, it's a bit more in balance now, so we're up at 1400 RPM now. You can see the hole in the centre there. Didn't seem to matter where I was cutting, the camera seemed to always be in the way at this point. So I've bought a new camera mount. I'm going to make it my next job to... it's actually going to be a lathe mounted camera system. That'll be my next job. Hopefully stop all this clunking around with the camera. So at this point I was concerned that the centre hole seemed to be, well, not centred. And I thought that was because it might not be sitting true in the chuck, so I put a mortise on the top of this base piece, flipped it round, flatten off the bottom, and then reset it. extremely tough wood, this yew, so I was sharpening a lot. Lovely figure in that bottom piece already. That centre hole looks like it's spinning true now. I was happy with that. So with this piece I had to sand everything as I went. You'll see in a minute why. When I started putting it together I wouldn't have access to the pieces easily anyway that I wanted to get to. So just rough sanding it up to sort of 320 or something, and then a bit of finish on there. So here's the first of the donuts going on. Or slices, whatever you want to call them. So here's my first mistake of this prototype build. I drilled a 22mm hole for a 22mm copper pipe. So everything was a bit tight. When I do the real one of these, I will be I'll get a 23mm drill bit and I will epoxy each of them on in turn, which is going to take forever, but I think I'll end up with a better product. Sort of pushing the limits of what I can do with my 1/2" bowl gouge on this piece, definitely. I actually sanded the pipe a little bit just to try and make things a little bit easier, but it didn't really work. But lesson learned. There's the first of the middle sections going in. So the idea was I wanted to make a sort of wave pattern, like a waveform going up the length of the pipe. Some of the bits being solid and some of the bits being in the slices. Now the washers that I was using to separate the pieces were actually 24mm centre hole, and that's all I could get at the time. For the next one of these, I've managed to get hold of some copper washers and some black stainless steel washers, which I'm going to sandwich together, and they are 22mm, so I won't have the imbalance that I've got at the moment. So as you can see, I was super gluing each one of these on as I got to it. Super glue doesn't stick very well to copper, so when I did make the inevitable mistakes, I could twist them off and put another one on. So you can see how I was trying to mirror that solid section in a 4-slice section. Now I've saved you the torture of watching me trying to put that big piece on that pipe. I realised within the first 2 minutes that I'd made a huge mistake. It was so tight going on, I was having to hit it pretty hard with a wooden mallet, and it probably took me 5 minutes of hitting it continuously to get it down even to that point there. And in so doing, I bent the pipe and broke most of the slice sections. So at this point I knew that this was going to be a failure as a piece, but I thought, well, I want to see it sort of finished, so we'll just carry on. So another 5 minutes of bashing it with a hammer there. And if you look at the tailstock end, you can see just how much the pipe is now bent, which is not ideal. Okay, so that's all sanded up now. And you can see another problem with those donuts is that they've split from the centre because I cut them end grain. And there's not much holding them together. And I'd got annoyed with it at this point, and I thought I'm just going to stick them all on and see if I can just turn through all of them, finish it off. And inevitably, every single one of them split on me. Now they're all glued on at this point, and it was very late at night. And I thought, well, it is what it is. So rather than them stick out beyond the washers, I'm going to turn them down so that they're inside the washers. That was the only bit of solid wood left. Just about enough room for my parting tool in between the washers, which was a happy coincidence. You can hear just how much that's vibrating. It was off centre by a good quarter of an inch, maybe more. So here we've got some shine juice going on. I will say, when I finished this piece and took it over to my neighbour, who's eventually going to own the real one, she loved it. She liked the idea. So I'm happy that I've done this little prototype. And don't judge it too harshly. I'm sure the next one's going to be better. But here's some glamour shots in the light box there of, you can guess what it's going to look like when it's finished. Get rid of all those steel washers, replace them with black and copper sandwiches. It's going to look quite nice. So there's a bit of extra content on the end here for those of you who like to have a look around the farm. It was a horrible windy and rainy day, but you get to see my favourite oak trees. We've got a drone racing track here on the farm, and one of the trees blew down a few years ago. It was already dead, got struck by lightning maybe 20 years ago, and we use it as an obstacle to fly around with the drones. So there's a limb sticking out that I've had my eye on for a while, so I took my son out and we cut the limb off, and I'm going to be making some projects from the oak from that one. So thanks for following along with this one, and we'll catch you on the next one, so stay tuned for the extra content. Cheers. Log there, yeah. That one on the end, that's what I'm going to be cutting off. Okay, so